good, TKG? All the culture talking to y'all. Listen, what is going on, guys, man? I missed y'all. I miss doing this as consistent as I used to do it before I got this fucking annoying ass job. Trust me, I want to fucking just change around my hours so I'm able to kind of work with this, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want to sound like Isaiah the player, but I care more about YouTube than I do my job sometimes. I want to do this more than I actually want to go to work. And, you know, it's like, it's just a passion there that I can't replace. Like, YouTube is very important to me. Y'all are very important to me. Like, entertaining is very important to me. So, I mean, shout out to y'all, first off, for still being very vocal in the comment sections and stuff like that. I want to give y'all the best quality content that I possibly can give until I can't give it no more. And that's never going to happen. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to tell y'all that I quit. It's not happening. So, you know what it is, guys. I took it upon myself to do a XXL freshman tier list. Now, I'm going to warn y'all, there was 50 of the 136 fucking XXL rookies that wound up in the trash tier, or in the OJ the Juice Man tier is what I said it was. So yeah, we're gonna go right on ahead and let's talk about all of these trash freshmen. I'm gonna talk about each tier individually, since y'all probably are not gonna be able to really see the pictures because there are so many rookies, so all of them are gonna be small. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about all the ones that are worth talking about. Some of them I might just paraphrase, but it's gonna be a long ass video, guys. Stick with me. I'm up at like 4 o'clock right now making this video, so I'm missing sleep for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I chose to do this, you know? I love this shit. So let's get right on into the damn tier list. Let me stop doing all this damn talking. So the OJ the Juice Man tier. Y'all know I called it OJ the Juice Man. If you're an OG of this channel, you know exactly why I called it the OJ the Juice Man tier. 14 Savage. You know exactly why, bro. Now, look, there's 50 fucking people sitting in this tier. So I know y'all can't see all the people, but y'all can make out some of the faces. Like, I know some of y'all might see it, baby. I'll see Ugly God and you know, Designer and probably Cap G and shit like that. So just to be a sport, I wrote out all of the names that were in the OJ the Juice Man tier, or the trash tier, I guess you could say. And, you know, I'm just going to talk about everyone individually, or most of them individually. So we got Angel Hayes, Asher Roth, Baby Keem, Blockboy JB, Blueface, Charles Hamilton, Chica, Corey Guns, King Crooked, Designer, Diggy Simmons, Dizzy Wright, Donis, Don Tripp, Fashawn, Fred the Godson, rest his soul, R.I.P., Gorilla Zoe, Jaron Benton, Joel Ortiz, John Connor, Kamaya, Cap G, K Camp, Kid Inc., Kirko Bangs, Lil Bibby, Lil Twist, Maiden TYO, or Main T whatever the fuck, Mikey Fax, or Mickey Fax, Mulatto, OG Mako, OJ the Juice Man, clearly, Papoose, Hill, Rari, Rich Boy, Rich Homie Quan, Roscoe Dash, Saigon, Shy Glizzy, Smoke Perp, Steflon Don, Tink, Trinidad James, Troy Ave, Ugly God, Wi-Fi's Funeral, Young Dro, and YK Osiris. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and explain the ones that, you know what I'm saying, might seem like a shocker. Like Baby Keem being in the trash tier, the OJ the Juice Man tier. Like Angel Hayes and Asher Roth, I don't think I have to explain. Two artists that never took off, never had numbers. I combined skill with accomplishments and achievements when I did this. Asher Roth and Angel Hayes never really did anything as opposed to numbers or hits or anything like that. So their careers are really, they never really took off to begin with. Baby Keem's career is just getting started relatively. So, you know, I mix his skill with his accomplishments. It's like he's not all that good on top of not having such a good career. So I had to put him here. He was kind of teeter-tottering the next tier, which is the mid tier. Black Boy JB, Blueface. Like Black Boy JB and Blueface, they were both kind of come up artists who, you know, just, I mean, Blueface just fell the fuck off. Like, let's be honest with ourselves here. His career never really had a superstar feel to it. It never really had a, you know, it never really had that, you know, that 6ix9ine type of feel where his career kind of feels like a, you know, where he used to feel like a superstar, but he's not anymore. Black Boy JB was supposed to be a big rapper, but he fell off. So his career, you know what I'm saying, is really just an asterisk on his career. Charles Hamilton's a guy who never really had it. Chica is someone who has the skill, but her, you know, failure to really make noise is the reason why she's here. Corey Guns is a guy who fell off quick. King Crooked, sorry. Fucking tongue twister. Say that shit quick. King Crooked. It's hard. Even though I just did it. King Crooked is a guy who I listen seldomly to. Good, but again, for someone as good as he is, he should probably have a better career. Designer, one hit wonder. Diggy Simmons is a what if story. Dizzy Wright's a guy who has tons of skill, just didn't have tons of clout. Don Tripp, Fashawn, guys who just absolutely just missed out on numbers. Fred the Godson, rest in peace to that man. I'm not gonna sit up and talk shit about him. Gorilla Zoe, a guy who made an anthem and then fell off right after. Common shit. Jaron Benton's a guy who never was on. Joel Ortiz, John Connor, Kamaya, Cap G. People who just, they're good, but they can't get attention. Like the common story is K-Camp, a guy who had, a pretty good run in the game and then sat up and, just faded off and became obsolete. Kid, a guy who was never on, a G Unit member who's worse than Tony Yayo somehow. Kid Ink, an anthem guy who fell off. Kirko Bangs, another anthem guy who fell off. Lil Bibby's a guy who's was never on, but is really, really big in Chicago. So, sorry to anyone that's in Chicago right now. Lil Twist is a guy who just killed his own career. Maiden, TIYO, another anthem guy who fell off. Mikey Fax, a guy who was never on. Mulatto, Cardi B 2.0, someone who thinks they got it, this doesn't. OG Mako is a one-hit wonder in a sense. OJ the Juice Man, I mean, come on. Papoose, Pill, Rari, Rich Boy. Rich Boy's an anthem guy who just fell off. Papoose and Pill are guys who sound good but didn't look good. And then Rich Homie Quan's an anthem guy. Rari's a guy who just never had that attention. Rosso Dash is another anthem guy who fell off. Sagan is a guy who had all the potential in the world but didn't, or Saigon, who just didn't capitalize off of, his supposed potential. Shy Glizzy is a guy who kind of sounded like an anthem guy but just didn't. Career never took off, still stagnant, still bad. Smoke Perp is a guy who still is Lil Pump's sidekick, which is a shame because Lil Pump is pretty much just a ghost at this point. Stefflon Don is someone whose career should have taken off just based off of her unique feel and unique sound. Didn't though, so I mean it's a shame because she offers something a little new in the game. Tink is another artist who looked like this supposed bad bitch type character to get behind, this tough girl type character to get behind, a real good singer, but it's just like nah, people soured on her quick. Trinidad James is an anthem guy who fell off. Troy Ave is a guy who killed off his own career before he even got started. Ugly God is someone who had tons of fucking popularity but sat up and just fumbled his own momentum by not dropping any music for like a long fucking, I don't know why he sat up and just acted as if, all these fans are gonna stay here. No, bro, like they need shit right now. They need a reason to keep listening to you. And then the first song he makes when he comes back is ass. So yeah, Ugly God sadly is here. Wi-Fi's Funeral is a guy who has talent, just doesn't have any success in the slightest. Young Dro's a guy who made literally one anthem, disappeared. And then YK Osiris is another guy who made one anthem and disappeared, who has skill, but again, is a guy who is more known for biting his girlfriend than actually making music. So, yeah. All of these people are in the trash tier for said reason. And I'm going to explain everybody. I'm going to get to everybody, and, maybe y'all agree, maybe y'all disagree. So, let's get on to the mid tier. Now, y'all see the mid tier. Just as many mids as, the OJ the Juice Man tier. I mean, not nearly as many, but still a lot. And I mean, to have like over half of your freshmen consist of artists who are mid-class or trash, it's kind of sad, honestly. I know everyone isn't meant to be great, but like, this is crazy. I know y'all can make out some of the faces you see. Like, y'all can probably see Lil Yachty, Iggy Azalea. I mean, I'm about to go ahead and give y'all the list once again, the names. And like last time, I'm going to go ahead and, explain everybody. Only I'm going to make this shit go by slower on purpose like an asshole. So, I know y'all got lives to live. But nonetheless, we got 24K Golden, who's a guy who's really big off of one song, and then kind of just, people just was acting like this guy was next up. I really don't see it. Like I said, Ace Hood, an anthem guy who was really big at one moment, kind of had a couple good songs, but, faded away nonetheless. Action Bronson, a guy who is pretty good and, doesn't really have the numbers, but, was a guy who I would have felt weird calling trash. August Alsina, a guy who can support a track very well, a guy who can, put up big numbers if given the chance, but, a guy with tons of potential nonetheless. Blue, a very good artist. B.O.B., a very crucial point of the start of the 2010s, made tons of hits. The guy he just seemed like a superstar for a second, but fell off. Boosie, another guy who was, super big at a moment in time, fell off. Comethazine, a guy who's on the come up and is doing big, good, pretty good numbers. Pretty good, doesn't really have many hits out, but is a guy who exudes talent. Currency, Sahida Prince, Dave East, guys who are really good artists, yet just undermine as opposed to relevancy. Dej Loaf, someone who had it, lost it, but, has talent. So, not necessarily a trash artist, just had it and lost it. Fetty Wap, a guy who literally was a defining artist for 2015. Fabian Foreign, a guy who's on the up and up, coming up quick. Gold Link, another guy who has, one anthem and just fell off. Well, not fell off, but just stopped making music. So, can't really fault him for that. Iggy Azalea, another person who had it like that, now doesn't. Not a shitty artist, but nonetheless, she's not good by any means. But I can't ignore her success. Isaiah Rashad, a boring artist who never really had a start, but is very talented nonetheless. He was kind of teeter-tottering in the trash tier, but, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Jack Harlow's a guy with like one, he has that one hit, so I can't put him in the good tier just because of that one superstar hit. He's showing shades of someone who's going to make it big, but, we're just waiting. J-Rock, a very good artist who should be big. Kyle, another shoulda, woulda, coulda guy. Lil B, a very influential artist, so-so rapper. Lil Dicky, focusing on TV, very good artist. Dirk, someone who's kind of getting out there right now. Keed, very iffy guy to me. I don't really like him that much, but I can't ignore that. He is, out here doing better than most. Mosey, a guy who just isn't a good rapper, but has the success. So he really was teeter-tottering on a good tier. Pump, another guy who had the numbers and the stats, but just is a shit rapper. Yachty, another shit rapper with numbers. Macklemore, a guy, very overrated artist, if you ask me. NLA Choppa's another guy who can give you the numbers, the stats, and everything, but is, mediocre. Playboi Carti is one of the worst artists in history, yet he does do good numbers, so I put him in mid, not good. He was teeter-tottering, good, but if he was a good rapper, he'd have been in good, possibly great. Plies is a guy who is kind of in and out right now, making music, but not really. Good artist back in the day. P&B Rock is a guy who pretty much is going to be more known for supporting tracks rather than making his own. So, I mean, he's not bad by any means, but kind of a ghost as opposed to relevancy. Rico Nasty's another one who is a ghost as opposed to relevancy, yet, she's very good when you listen to her. And Rod Wave is a guy who can kind of get numbers, but people overrate this guy. People think that he's, or not overrate him, they overhate him. Rod Wave is very much not liked in the community for some odd reason that I'll talk about some other time. Tierra Whack, extremely good artist, extremely disappointing success rate as opposed to relevancy and, hits and everything. Has the ability to make a hit, but just isn't for some reason. Vic Mensa, a guy who had the world in his hands and literally threw it on the ground and said, I want a bigger one. And then we got YBN Namir, or just Namir. I think YBN broke up. But Namir, a guy who pretty much is, now that he's out of YBN, just a mediocre artist. Had, tons of attention at one point, turned into something else. Now I think he's more focused on everything else other than what he's doing now, or supposed to be making music. So here's all the mediocre, sort of, kinda, the mids, I guess you could say. The guys and girls that are almost there, but I mean, not necessarily there. Some had it like that for a second and just bad, and then some are aspiring to have it like that and don't. So onto the good tier. To kind of jump right into the good category, we got 21 Savage, a guy who is rapidly improving. A guy who would have been mid had he had been on his same old little niggas on talk shit, niggas on die, niggas on, his little quiet ass flow and shit like that. He's kind of improving, kind of getting louder, kind of getting more aggressive. I like that. A Boogie, a guy who would have been also in the mid tier had he been on his same little shit from before. Making tons of noise. He's a guy who might be an anthem guy one of these days. Ab-Soul, a guy who's always been one of the best kind of rappers ever in a sense of I want to kind of put him in the same tier as Kendrick Lamar, but it's just you got to account for success too. So it's some people's skill, I know skill and a career is being accounted for here. So it's they're polar opposites. Ab-Soul is so quiet as opposed to a career, yet he's so amazing as opposed to being a rapper. So it's it cancels itself out, because shit, if we're talking about his rapper ability, he really should be in the GOAT tier. But if we're talking about his his career, he really should be in the mid tier. So I made him in the middle and gave him the good. Amine is a guy who I just had an album review for, and he's actually surprised me for how diverse he can actually be. So Amine is a guy that I'm gonna definitely listen to, or Amine, or whatever, however y'all pronounce his motherfucker's name. Seriously, y'all have to tell me in the comment section, because I don't know. Anderson .Paak is a guy who makes good music, just point blank period. And then he's a guy who's going to, he reflects that on the charts. And then it's just even if he didn't have the charts, he probably still would have been borderline mid, just good. Chance the Rapper is a guy who's, we're all soured on at this point, and he should be in the great tier, but he isn't. So, kind of fucked his own career up in a sense. Chief Keef is one of the most influential artists in history. And crazy that, because he became so influential at the age of 17, and now here he is 25 years old, and nothing's changed. He's just still super good. The Baby is a guy who is started out good and is ending up good, and he could be in that great tier in 3 years if he keeps up what he's doing. Denzel Curry is another guy who, you know what I'm saying, numbers don't really speak volumes for how good he actually is. And that can be said for a lot of artists, but really Denzel Curry, he's just one of the best rappers, one of the greatest rappers we have in the game today as opposed to rap skill. So I met him in the middle once again, and I gave him the good, because really if we were talking about a career, he should be mid. French Montana is another guy who probably should have been great, but, you know, he's only got 18 hits being like 10 years in the game. So, I mean, you know, disappointing. G Herbo's a guy who is another guy who, like, most of these artists are going to exude being, you know, a ghost. Like Hobson. Gunna's a guy who kind of has the hits and is at rapping. So it's like, you know, he should be in the mid. He's borderline mid, borderline good. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I said he was a good artist. JID's another, you know, the career doesn't do the talking, the rapping does. Joey Badass, Kevin Gates, Kodak Black, Lil TJ. Same thing for them. Same Denzel Curry treatment for them. Lil Uzi Vert's a guy who, at this point, has like fucking 1,000 damn hits. And is a pretty decent rapper. So, I mean, he could wind up in that great tier very fucking soon. But I wouldn't put him in a great tier that, you know, compared to the artists who are in the great tier as well. So, as opposed to his competition up there, he doesn't match up. But, you know, he has the potential. Lupe Fiasco is a guy who should probably be in the great tier. But, I mean, from what I've heard, it's not all that. Machine Gun Kelly, another guy who should be a hit machine, but isn't, you know, pretty good rapper, pretty decent career. So I'd say good. Megan Thee Stallion for now is good. Can't say she's great as of yet. Same thing with the baby. At this point, I gotta give it time. Polo G, very good artist. Give him some time. He can be in that great category. Roddy Ricch, another guy who is gonna be great if he keeps up the level of intensity he's coming with now. 2 number ones already. Pretty impressive. Megan Thee Stallion has 2 number ones. It's pretty great too. Schoolboy Q, a guy who, you know, should be in that great tier, honestly. Ski Master Slump got another one who should be in that great tier, but, you know, doesn't match the, you know, legacy of his, you know, deceased friend who is in the great tier. So I'm gonna spoil that one for you. Trippie Redd is another guy who I would expect can be in that great tier in like 3 years, and probably even give him a year or 2. Ty Dolla $ign is one of the greatest co-signer artists ever. Honestly, you got him on a song, it's a hit. Vince Staples is another guy who can be in that great tier if he stamps it up just a little bit. Wale is a guy who should be in the great tier, but he fucking ruins his own legacy by bitching and moaning too much. He has the skill, but he just destroys his own career. And then Cordae and Yellow Wolf are 2 artists. Cordae is a young artist who can now impress, now that he's dropped the Cordae from his name like I predicted, and show the world what he can do. And Yellow Wolf, a guy who's been good, should be great. So y'all know what it is. Let's just get right into the great tier. I'm not going to waste any of y'all time. I know y'all don't want this video to be an hour, because trust me, if I explained everything I just did, this video would just be pretty much like 2 hours long, and y'all ain't got 2 hours to waste with me. Y'all got better YouTubers to watch. No, there's not too many great artists that came from XXL, honestly. Big Crit, a guy who has been absolutely timeless since he got started with his rap career. He hasn't changed. He's only really improved since his initial debut into music. Big Sean's a guy who should be in the GOAT tier, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I said, you know what, why not? Just get into like somebody. I know y'all are looking at the thing and whatever, the tier list, the pictures, and you probably see Big Sean in the good category. I'm gonna have to call bullshit. The tier maker fucked up. It froze on me as I was moving some of these guys. I understand Pac is in the damn mid category when he should be in the good category. So yeah, A lot of them shouldn't be where they are, but for the most part, I got it right. Or it got it right. Shit. I know where I put every one of these guys. But Big Sean is a guy who should be in the GOAT category. Should be, like a superstar, like sounding guy. He just isn't to me. He's like a Draymond Green. Like, he makes other songs better, but him by himself, like, he's got a lot of proving to do. Like, he's a guy who just isn't, super standout-ish to me. Unless, he's in a song where, there's other superstars there, then he tends to get overshadowed, or he tends to want to sound like he's want to proving him, he wants to prove himself or whatever. So move on to Danny Brown. Danny Brown's a guy who's been in the game killing it since he got started. Not a guy who has, his albums top high regarded and stuff like that, but a well-respected artist nonetheless, doing Detroit proud. Super good rapper. If you have never heard of Danny Brown, trust me, you got to get over his annoying ass voice, but he's good. Probably can't get in that GOAT category unless his career flourishes, which I don't see it happening at this stage of his career, because anyone can become a superstar whenever, but still, he's still one of the best artists in the game today. Freddie Gibbs, another guy who is just been a underground god in a sense, like the Tech Nines and the Hobsons and the Freddie Gibbs of the world. He's just a guy who, if you listen to him, you're asking yourself, like, why isn't this guy as big as DMX used to be? Because of his energy, like, they're comparable. Hood, type of feel. If you don't like that hood aggressive music, don't listen to him. Future is a guy who should be in that GOAT category, but it's the talent, it's the skill. His skill drags him down to the great category, and it's just like, some people are gonna be like, oh no, that shouldn't work like that. Like, what the fuck? Like, oh no. Future, like, okay, that's fine. Like, go ahead. I'll watch your video when you drop it, whenever you do. Tell me when that happens, and I'll subscribe, view, like, and share. Logic is a guy who just retired, who was having a great career anyways, but, of course he fucked himself up, with his, the album. Let's not even speak on it. We'll just paraphrase and say the album. That kind of almost killed off his career. He kind of bounced back with No Pressure. Very, very misunderstood character, I'd say Logic is, honestly. Everyone just needs to go back and listen to all of fucking Logic's fucking projects, because it's like, you don't get the full scoop just listening to the new stuff, and then you're going like, oh, okay, yeah, I see why people think he's ass. Like, you gotta listen to everything. Not everything, but like, get a scoop of what every, get a scoop of all the ice cream and see which one's the best, before you, get your ice cream cone, I guess, in a sense. That's a bad analogy, but still. Meek Mill is a guy who also should be in the GOAT category, but is a guy who kind of is just now becoming more of a W sort of artist. Like, he was, most of his career, he was like a loser in a sense, or the L character. People just really couldn't stand Meek Mill for a minute. Now he's one of the heroes of the game, and it's like, oh, okay, well, pretty good story. A couple more good albums like Championships, and we may have him in the GOAT category. We may have him in the GOAT category. Nipsey Hussle is a guy who I said on numerous occasions isn't a legend. I'm not going to get into that any more than I will, so I'll move right on to Travis Scott, a guy who would have just stayed good had he not dropped Astro World. I think that album kind of shoved him up into the great category. He's pretty highly regarded as opposed to rap. Very big, market guy. A guy who knows how to, get himself bigger than he should be. So, if it's weird that Travis Scott is in the legend category, the great category, but, Lil Uzi Vert isn't, you gotta talk to me in the comment section so you can understand better. Wiz Khalifa's a guy who exudes greatness, pretty much is a guy who is just a good rapper, has a pretty stagnant, success or career at this point, but is a good career nonetheless. a great career, may I say. XXXTentacion's a guy who is not going to go in the GOAT category no matter what y'all say. So I'm going to skip X. And then YG is a guy who most people will be like, what the fuck? Like, why is he in there? YG has been rapping for a long fucking time, okay? And he's really been a hitman for most of his career. Like, I can name more YG songs than a lot of the people on this list. That's weird because I don't really listen to YG like that, which is crazy, right? I don't really listen to him, yet I can quote his music. That's what's supposed to happen. I'm supposed to hear about you, not like wonder like what the fuck happened to this guy. Like, oh shit, like, oh, I know of his name, but I don't know, what is he dropped? So yeah, we only have 4 artists left for the GOAT category. If you haven't already clicked off the video because you're pissed off with a selection, then I commend you. This video is not going to last much longer. So, pour out that popcorn. Let's get into that GOAT tier. And as you see, we only have 4 left: Mac Miller, Kendrick, J. Cole, and Kid Cudi. Now, Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole might not need explaining, so I won't explain those two. I'll only explain Mac Miller and Kid Cudi because, honestly, if you need an explanation as to why Kendrick Lamar wound up in the GOAT tier, then you haven't been listening or watching anything that has to do with rap in the past, 10 years. And then J. Cole's kind of the same way. But let's talk about Mac Miller, a guy who's been a stellar sound in the game for 10 years, 10 plus years, and this has been like a wild ride, like the guys I've gone on record to say is just a beautiful listen. Like, you just listen to him, you could just fade away into whatever emotion he's making you feel at the moment because he's good at making you feel a certain type of way. Him and Kid Cudi, like Kid Cudi's kind of the same way. Like, I think I'm kind of on the same wavelength for both guys. Like, whatever I say about Mac can really be said about Kid Cudi. Only in the terms of success, I would say that Mac Miller kind of edges Kid Cudi by just a little. So, this tier list, this entire class, everyone you see, honestly, all this could change. There could be some guys in the trash tier that turn into superstars. There could be some guys from the GOAT tier. That shit can't change. Anyone that's in the legend tier, anyone that's in the GOAT tier, that ain't changing. They stay here. They're, Mac, Kendrick, J. Cole, and Cudi, these guys are just stuck as legends. And there's some guys that are in a great tier that should be in the legend tier. There's some guys in the good tier that will go in the great tier. There's some mids that might turn out to be good. There's some, OJ the Juice men, they might turn into GOATs. Shit, you never know. Like an OJ the Juice Man might make the greatest return of all time and just shock us all. But until that happens, shit, he is where he is, and everyone else is where they are at. You know what it is, guys. If you guys like this, I love it. A little too long for my taste, but y'all say y'all like the long videos, so why not pump one out for y'all? Of course, you already know what it is, man. If you like the video, please subscribe to this channel and the new channel, Kulture Be Talkin. A new video is going to be coming there very soon. Of course, go in the description box and go to the social medias and go, give me a little follow, a little message. I respond to everybody. No one should feel left out. Of course, share this video if you like it. Get the word out. Get TKG on the ball rolling. I'm counting on y'all. Y'all are the future, man.